Hello guys and gays, this is AiHEADHUNTER and we have PvT match here between me and some random leather dude called IMMvp. Obviously it's not the real MVP. He was like rank 1 or 2 master, but the stats were like 200 to 150 or 180, so I really don't think it's the real MVP. But he played really decent game, and he was very significantly ahead at some point, dropping me all over the place, and it was really difficult to come back from this situation. So that's why I picked this replay to show you how I dealt with it, how it's possible to come back uh, from behind when you play against terran. So, map is Ohana. The distance between two players is rather short, I would say. So you should watch out for some cheesy play from terran, like 2 racks, proxy barracks somewhere, factory play, very effective, like marine drop Hellions into your expansion, or standard 1-1-1. All the possibilities are there on this map. So the scout is essential. You should really verify if your opponent is expanding or not. So I'm gonna open with 13 gateway, as I always do in PvT. I really don't 16 nexus anymore in this matchup. I used to do that like half year ago. I really liked the economical boost, but I was dying to all sorts of all-ins, like simple reactor Hellions, simple Turax. I mean with the add-ons Tech Lab reactor. He hit just before I finished warp gate, and there were just not enough units. So I really stopped to do 16 nexus and always 1 gate expand. My probe, scouting probe, got into his base, and I'm able to scout that there's no refineries, no gas, and the orbital started right after the barracks finished. So that's something you could pay attention to, because if that doesn't happen, if you see that the orbital is delayed for a few seconds, it's possible that the terran is making proxy barracks somewhere else, and he just didn't have the minerals in time to make an orbital. So he's scouting SCV, got in this awkward place, so I was able to kill it. That's really good, and it shouldn't happen to terran, because now he's not sure if I'm expanding or not. Obviously he checked that I don't have second gas, and so the probability that I expand is very high, but still it's not good to lose your SCV like that. In meantime, I scouted his 3rd and 4th for proxy barracks, and I'm gonna scout under his cliff. So that should cover all the places on this map for proxy barracks. I really like to scout everything. No more dying to proxy barracks. That's my rule. And at the same time, the Zealot was able to make his way into the terran natural, and I'm able to scout to verify that he's expanded. So I lost only my probe, I saved the Zealot, and that is the best way how to scout terran expansion. There's just literally no way I could get cheesed in this game. I just scouted everything, and I'm feeling pretty safe right now. I still think that on this map it's wise to make 3 gateways after your nexus. Sometimes you can cut this. You know that your opponent is making expansion, so you don't need early 3 gate. You can go robo, or even early double forge, like 6 double forge. It is very much possible. But I think on this map it's rather safer to make 3 gateways right after your expansion, because the possibility of 4 racks after an command center is here. The distance between players is short, as I was saying. So I didn't make the 3 gateways because I'm confident I'm able to defend something like this, but it's risky. It's risky. I wouldn't recommend you to play this like every game, like sometimes. Okay. You could see that I put double forge at 6th minute, so and also Urobo. You know, there were times where Protoss is played like Double Forge, Mass Charlotte Archon without the Observer, and it's not that I would be afraid of Cloak Banshee, but it's really hard to defend drops without Observer. You just don't know what might hit you. You don't know anything, and you have to keep a significant amount of your army in your main and in your expansion, and you can't really move out without getting dropped and so on. So I lost my Stalker. I didn't pay attention. That was a mistake. Let's say it was a mistake, but I have 2 additional Stalkers to take the dead Stalker place, and I just really need to hold his Zelnega tower because I want to have the map control, and I want him to be just a little bit afraid that, for example, 6 gate is the possibility here. So I want to have the map control. So like 7:30, I think it was, second gases on my expansion. 8 minutes I start to mine the gas. In the meantime, 1-1 is close to finish and Twilight Council is on the way. Right now I have to prepare for Medivac timing, so I need at least 6 gateways, but rather 8 gateways, so you know, so you don't die to the Medivac pressure, because it can be the bomber style. I'm not sure if it's really the bomber style, but it can be the situation when Terran just don't take any upgrades, don't make armory, doesn't make their third command center, and just pressure you all the time. So you really need the gateways to defend, especially when you go charge lot like me. If you have 1 Colossi, you don't need so many gateways, because the Colossi is just a big stop sign for all the mass marines. So when you go gateway heavy units, especially charge lots, you need many gateways. So I'm able to do some free hits into his factory before the army reaches me, and try to make it burn. It would be really helpful if the factory was on fire. So you know, it basically he would be forced to back the factory out or to just lose it that early. So the timing is here. I can force field my ramp very easily. I have many force fields. You can see that I have 2 groups of army. One is Stalkers in my main, and second Zealots plus sentries in my expansion. I would say that's the best way to defend this kind of pressure. Stalkers can shoot the Medivac dropping in the main, and Zealots and sentries defend the natural. In the meantime, I'm chrono boosting 2-2 and preparing for Templar follow-up. So I was able to catch a slight amount of his army, but it didn't really pay off because the force fields failed a little bit. He was able to squeeze out, and in the meantime I get double dropped in my main, and my observer wasn't in a place, so I didn't see it coming, and he unloaded all of his army before I moved my Stalkers, and you can see it's already pretty bad. I'm 30 supply behind, and just the double drop really screws my mining, kills a lot of army. Very cost effective drop, and also it forced me to move my army group, Zealot and sentries in my home, and I'm very in tough situation. I was able to kill 1 Medivac, and maybe the second one, because I guess he didn't really pay attention to this. So, you know, for now I defended, but the damage was done. The double drop was very successful, and he's still 30 supply ahead. Now I have to stabilize the game. I have to set the observers, 1 in front of natural, 1 in front of the my main, and you know, to be able to spot the drops. Right now I didn't have the amount of force field I needed, only 1, so that's you know, pretty unfortunate. I have to morph my first Templars into Archons, and still the army is pretty low. The only advantage I have are the upgrades. It's, I believe, 2-2 against 1-1, but it's pretty close. I have the minerals for warping, but the bio is doing some damage to my mining, and very bad situation. As you can see, the supply are almost double, and I will be able to clean this up. Some mineral walk, or let's say gas walk, with the probes, so they do some damage. But in meantime, they're not being the target to his attacks, because if you switch from the attack to mine, he's not targeting the probes, the bio is not automatically attacking the probes. Meantime, another double drop, and you can see I'm really big pressure, and I'm barely able to follow this these constant drops. I really need to stabilize the game. The difference in supplies is not 60 like before, because I have 1000 minerals, so it wasn't really 60 difference. I just hadn't worked in time. So I'm not dead yet, but again, drop in the natural, drop in the main, and not enough units to defend. Maybe you wonder why I warp in charge lots all the time, why not stalkers, why not shoot the medivacs? But the answer is very simple. When you are behind and you want to fight the small chunks of army, the stalkers are really not effective at all. I mean cost effective, because 4 marauders or 8 marines, just one drop can easily kill 5 stalkers if they drop somewhere else, but in the range of the stalkers. And it's really dangerous, because you miss one drop just a few centimeters and you lose the game, because you invest all your minerals in stalkers and they are just not that good in a fight. But charge lots are the most effective way to fight small chunks of army, especially when you have upgrade advantage. Just 2 charge lots against 2-1 bio, and it's really very much cost effective, because you know, 6 charge lots are only 600 minerals, and they can defend army that costs like 1000. So even if you can't hit the medivacs, it's really, you know, painful when you see the medivacs and you can't attack them because you have only charge lots. But it's the safer way to defend the drops when you're behind. Just when you're behind and you get dropped, you need to warp charge lots, not stalkers. So that's it. I stabilized the game a little bit. Finally I have some High Templars. I wanted to make them quite a while ago, but there was no time to get the mana for Storm. I needed to morph them into Archons, and then I lost the Archons and so on. So finally I have decent army, as you can see. I'm still 35 supply behind, but I was able to survive due to charge lot warping and the effective, let's say I fought these battles effectively, because I didn't really suffered much economic damage. Only, you know, a few pylons there, that's just minerals, you know. So although these drops seemed really scary, they actually weren't that deadly, I would say. They weren't deadly because I survived, it's obvious. But right now I'm 50 supply behind, and I'm not even sure whether I'm that behind or not. I'm attacking his third base, and because he was pressuring so hard, he didn't have time to make ghosts. So the one advantage I have right now are the High Templars. He just made 6 ghosts, so now he's able to EMP. I'm splitting my High Templars, and yes, my control in that battle was superior, because he wasn't able to EMP my High Templars and I killed some ghosts. So it's really good for me, but still some supply behind. Let's check income. I killed many SCVs, and that was, you know, see the storm. There were completely crashing storms, and I think big mistake from my opponent. He was able to finally EMP my army from the side. He was flanking with the ghosts, but at the time he was flanking, I used the few second window that the ghosts were out, and I stormed his army, and it was the tipping point, I would say, in this game. I'm still 60 supply behind, but I'm still in this game because I did very much damage to his army, and in meantime my favorite move when I'm playing charge lot High Templar is Warp Prism and like warp reinforcements in his main. Sometimes it's better to warp reinforcements in the battle, so you know the battle is equal, but suddenly you warp 10 charge loads and you win the battle. But I like to warp the reinforcements in his main because you know, charge loads between the barracks, they are catching the bio as it comes out of the barracks and so on. But still, I'm really behind, and he has goats against High Templars, and you can see that I don't have a big army, and I feel like my only chance is to flank his army with storm from many sides, you know, spread the High Templars. And you can see, I think this is a very good move from me, because he moved his army as one big dead ball, and I had High Templars all over the place and few observers, and I completely flanked his army from multiple sides and storm him. And even though most of his army survived, I'm in a really good position because all his bio is wounded, and I just warp reinforcements charlottes, and I'm able to force him, you know, to chase him away, because the storms just did all the job I needed. As I see that I'm able to defend my third base, I immediately warp an additional charlottes in his main. No, that's the best way, I would say, to counter attack. Like warp in his main, kill a few SCVs, force him to get back in his main, and so on. That zealot is on hold position, just, you know, so he kills the SCV instead of charging to some, you know, marine and kill one marine. Better to kill 3 SCVs. And I'm still using the cost effectiveness of the charge lots. Fighting in small armies, that's the key, you know, that's the parting style. To fight all the time, flank his army with High Templars and fight charge lots. You know, if you are 200 against 200 and you don't have Colossi, you have only charge lot Archon High Templar, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose like, I don't know, 80% of the time. Obviously, if he has ghosts, you know, that's like, if it's bio plus ghosts against charge lots plus High Templars, and you are 200 against 200, you're gonna lose. So, if the game stabilizes, you have to add Colossi, or you have to force the game not to stabilize. You have to fight all the time. No, send Zealot to his third, warp in his main with Warp Prism, and do such things. Keep yourself active in this game. And really flanking his army with High Templars, it's basically the best way. Even if you play Colossi, or if you play any kind of strategy and you find yourself in late game against Terran, flanking his army with High Templars is just the best way to do the damage. Little Dark Templar harassment, always useful in late game, I would say. When there are many bases on the map, and you know, there's he's not walled off, because the supply depots are permanently down, so you can get your Dark Templars anywhere on the map, anywhere on his base, and you have even the War Prism, so Dark Templars really useful. Sometimes, when the game is slower, I think it's better to invest your gas into Colossus transition. But when you fight all the time and you really don't have the time to make double robo and to wait 1 minute for 2 Colossi and additional minute for another 2 Colossi, it's better to just build Dark Shrine and keep your harassment. So right now, again, I'm preparing myself for flanking his army with High Templars. You can see High Templars on each side. But still, you can keep the High Templars on one hotkey. If you watch the hotkeys, I have one hotkey is all the charge lots, second hotkey is the shooting units, the units that can shoot medivacs, that are only Archons at the time, and my third group are the High Templars, and even though they are split, you know, on all over the screen or 2 screens, I can still have them on one hotkey. That's not the issue. And I think those feedbacks shouldn't have happened to him, because I think in late game Terran should secure the Xel'Nagas and scan always 1 step forward. That's like my advice to Terrans. Just always scan scan, you know, somewhere before you go there. Kill the observers or something, EMP, and you just really can't afford to get feedback like he did. There were only 2 feedbacks, but it was enough. I'm 10 supply ahead, and basically I'm going for the win right now. I have many High Templars. I still need not to get EMP. If I get EMP all over the Templars, obviously the game would be over. But you know, again, I'm trying to flank his army. It's much harder when I'm attacking than when we meet on the plain field, like, you know, on the open field. But there were no ghosts. I realized it only after the battle started that there were no ghosts. I already feedback the ghosts, and you know, no ghosts against 8 High Templar with so many storms, and the game is over. So that's it. 28 minutes, and I think the most dangerous part was when after I defended his initial medevac push, I moved my army forward. I tried to catch a few of his bio units, but in meantime I got double dropped and my observer wasn't in position. If you checked, there's a probe, but there is observer patrolling here. I don't like to patrol a large way like this, because it might happen that the observer is here and you get dropped here. That's a problem, obviously. So just patrol in the whatever you think is smartest position, you know, there, and you shouldn't get dropped. Also, cannons are really good. I wonder why even such a pro players like Seed or, you know, those kind of Koreans, they don't like to use cannons against drops. Obviously, when the Terran drops here, and you know, even few Marines can destroy cannon pretty easily. But this helps. I feel like this helps. You know, cannon here really helps. You know, really at least it gives you the time to back off your probes, and it's really cost effective. Make the cannons, but don't make them too early. You know, you need to have some army first, because if you start cannoning yourself in 10 minutes, your opponent just, you know, make faster command center, and you know, he would say like, what is this shit? Like, why are you cannoning yourself? You know. So the worst situation was when I got double dropped here, and I was at one moment I was 65 supply against 120, but the Charlotte Warpaint saved my ass, and I was able to get back in the game. Even then, after my successful attack at his turret, I killed many SCVs there. We can check 67 SCVs at the time, but that's not you know, true. At the time, as I was attacking the turret, don't know which time was that. I killed like 15 to 20 SCVs, but even that I was behind in supply. But the High Templar flank was really successful. You know, right now I'm using the advantage of High Templars against no ghosts, but there are ghosts. I need to split, feedback. You know, that was really successful, but still, his army is too big and I don't have enough mana, so I rather back off. And there, perfect storms, and I knew that my army is really small, and I'm probably not gonna win the fight, but still, with that kind of storms, I just took the fight, and it was a mistake, because, you know, 10 medivacs heal like everything really fast, even though he gets those kind of storms. And was that now it's really dangerous moment when he's going to counterattack, and you see the Warpin with the War Prison was really significant, really important in this game, because I slowed him down. Like I think I bite myself maybe a minute of time before his counterattack, and the minute was so important that the Warpin of High Templars, you know, all of the High Templars gathered mana for Storm. Right now, 40 supply behind, but High Templar split and flank and storms from all the sides. I'm backing off my charge lots even. I'm not fighting at all, I'm just storming him. Just storms everywhere. Just storms, and even everything died. I knew that with another round of warping I will be able to defend. And that was also a very important moment in this game. So, thank you for watching.